Thrag, the powerful Grand Regent in the Invincible universe. It takes a great deal of courage and strength to be a leader of an empire, and not everyone can shoulder the responsibilities that come with the role. The Grand Regent Thrag is one of the few entities who proved themselves worthy of being a leader and ruled the Viltrum Empire with an iron fist. Created by Robert Kirkman, Thrag was first introduced in the Invincible Returns comics and is one of the most important characters in the Invincible universe. Though this universe was quite widespread, the Viltrumites made up an essential part of it and were one of the strongest races to exist. Thrag ruled this powerful empire with all his might and ensured their survival even in the most life-threatening situations. He is an all-powerful entity with strength and powers beyond one's imagination and has also been crowned as the strongest Viltrumite ever. Let us dive into his origins and explore the life of this robust antagonist in the Invincible universe. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The journey into becoming the Grand Regent. Grand Regent Thrag, also known as the leader of the Viltrumites, faced many challenges to reach the top. He was not handed the title of Grand Regent on a silver platter, and he fought off many entities and faced many obstacles to achieve this position. Thrag was one of the most ancient Viltrumites who was born on the Viltrum planet thousands of years ago. He went through extensive training and mastered many forms of combat and war tactics to become the strongest among the Viltrumites. After the tragic death of Viltrum's king Argal at the hands of Thetis, Thrag fought in the Viltrumite Civil War, leading several troops and emerging as one of the most powerful races in the Invincible universe. He was then given the title of Grand Regent and was also handed the responsibility of avenging Argal's death and finding his next of kin. However, the spread of the Scourge virus that infected almost the entire Viltrumite population made it difficult for Thrag to find the heir. He then assumed that there was a good chance the heir died due to the virus, and he crowned himself as the leader of the Viltrumites. How Thrag changed the destiny. Thrag had once handed the responsibility of killing Invincible, also known as Mark Grayson, to the Viltrumite warrior known as Conquest. However, Conquest failed to kill the superhero and returned to Thrag to ask for his forgiveness. Thrag was enraged, and he even threatened to kill Conquest himself. However, he soon saw Conquest's potential and teamed him up with Lucan, another powerful Viltrumite, to end Invincible's life and get rid of all of his supporters. As the Grand Regent, Thrag also played a significant role in the Viltrumite War. When Thetis led the coalition of planets, he waged war against the Viltrumites. Thetis argued that the powerful Viltrumite by the name of Nolan had betrayed his Viltrum Empire, and the coalition also had the weapons to destroy the Viltrumites. As they made their way to Viltrum, we learn that Grand Regent is aware of their plans since he has a double agent working in the coalition. This double agent was also handed the responsibility of destroying the planetary barrier on Telescria, which was the capital of the coalition and the only place where Viltrumites could not do any harm. He tries to visit Telescria but soon retreats after Invincible destroys his warship. He prepares for battle and is ready to lead the Viltrumites against the coalition as well as Invincible. Thrag even keeps the skull of the dead Lord Argal and promised to avenge his death. As the war wages in full force, Invincible goes up against Thrag, who effortlessly manages to defeat the superhero. He was then cornered by Invincible's half-brother Oliver, but Thrag once again managed to overpower him without much difficulty. Thrag attacked the young superhero, almost killing him and leaving him critically injured. Though Invincible had already fallen in defeat, on witnessing Oliver's injured state, he once again went up against Thrag with all the strength left in him. He hits Thrag with full force, but the powerful Grand Regent only gets a mild nosebleed while making fun of Invincible's poor display in combat. The two fight for a long time, and Invincible even reveals that he has killed Conquest and is determined to kill Thrag. In the meantime, the Viltrum Empire seems to be falling as Thetis, Nolan, and Invincible manage to destroy Viltrum's heritage sites and cause havoc on the planet. Finally, the leader of the Empire, Thrag, steps up and goes up against Thetis as he once promised. He gives Thetis one last chance to surrender and then decapitates his head from his body. After finally avenging Lord Argal's death, Thrag swears to protect the Viltrumites and announces that anyone who goes up against the Viltrum Empire will die. However, the fight is far from over as Invincible still stands undefeated. Thrag lunges into an attack on the superhero, but they are soon interrupted by Nolan Grayson, son of Lord Argal. Though Nolan has Viltrumite blood, he believes that the Viltrum Empire deserves to go extinct to pay for their crimes. Thrag finds himself fighting against Nolan and Invincible when a third villain named Battle Beast appears at the scene. The Coalition recruited Battle Beast to fight in the Viltrumite War, and he gave a tough fight to Thrag. Eventually, Thrag uses his super strength to kill Battle Beast and then returns to Nolan and Invincible. However, instead of attacking the duo once again, Thrag states that they will need all the Viltrumites to come together to prevent their extinction. He ends up in talks with Invincible and explains that all the Viltrumites who survived the Scourge virus are now on Earth. Thrag also readily agrees to surrender on the condition that the Viltrumites can stay on Earth and live among humans. Invincible refuses to hear any more of this proposal, but Thrag insisted that he hears him out. Thrag intends on having the Viltrumites stay hidden on Earth without them interfering with any human activities. Though Invincible is not keen on this plan, he eventually accepts it for the sake of survival of his species. This agreement brings an end to the Viltrumite War, wherein Thrag proves himself to be worthy of the title of Grand Regent. What makes him such a tough opponent? As a Viltrumite, Thrag has inherited many powers and abilities, such as superhuman strength and speed. He also has superhuman stamina and can endure pain and injuries with much more ease than other beings. Thrag can also fly across the universe and has the ability to hold his breath for up to a fortnight, making it very easy for him to survive in outer space. He quite literally has a thicker skin than other beings, and only other Viltrumites or higher entities can physically cause him any harm or injure his skin. He is highly skilled in combat, including wielding all kinds of weapons as well as hand-to-hand combat. Even when injured in combat, Thrag heals from deadly injuries in no time as he possesses an enhanced ability to heal. Just like all the other Viltrumites, Thrag only has one weakness in the form of vulnerable ears. High-frequency sounds or an imbalance in his ears' equilibrium can cause intolerable pain and even be fatal to his being. Despite this weakness, he has been alive for thousands of years and is still at the peak of his physique. For centuries, he has also successfully led the Viltrumites and possesses excellent leadership skills. Additionally, he was also a strategic leader, and he used tactics and complex strategies to defeat his opponents and protect Viltrum. It was established that he was the strongest Viltrumite to have ever lived, and he possessed a strength level of class 100+. The record of powerful villains that he has defeated is clear evidence of the fact that he is quite a formidable opponent. How Thrag fares opposite the likes of Battle Beast and Superman. Thrag has gone up against many powerful entities, such as the likes of Battle Beast. Battle Beast was considered to be a ruthless fighter of the Invincible universe who finally saw his death at the hands of Thrag. The duo fought each other for days and weeks, and eventually Thrag overpowered this predator and emerged victorious. Though Thrag is the strongest Viltrumite in the Invincible universe, his powers fall short in front of Superman. Of course, this also depends on which Superman we are talking about here. Most Supermans have powers that are just a level above Thrag, though there is always a chance for this badass Viltrumite to defeat the superhero if their universes ever collide. However, this is quite unlikely since Superman has extreme superhuman strength and could, at one point, hold the Earth's weight for 5 days and even hold a black hole in his hand. Of course, Thrag has many deadly powers that make him a deadly opponent, but if he ever goes up against Superman, the odds are not in his favor. Conclusion. As a leader of the Viltrumite, Thrag has faced many challenges and led the species for decades. He has never backed down from a challenge and even went up against some of the most powerful entities in the Invincible universe. With his experience, Thrag emerges as one of the strongest villains that Invincible has ever had to face, and it is best to stay out of his way. So with that being said, if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.